Okay, listen closely, because this is going to completely shift the way you see men and yourself. Most women think men fall in love with beauty, status, or how much you do for them. But here's the truth. Men fall hardest for the woman who knows exactly how to speak to their emotional core. It's not about being loud, sexy, or always available. It's about the energy behind your words. And right now, if you're watching this, you probably feel like you're doing everything right, but it's still not working. Maybe you're texting first, always trying to keep the conversation going, or overthinking every little word. You're not crazy, you've just never been taught how to talk to a man in a way that makes him feel obsessed, safe, and emotionally addicted. In this video, I'm going to break it all down. The exact phrases that trigger emotional attraction, the things you're saying that are pushing him away without realizing it, and how to shift your tone, language, and presence so he starts chasing you. This isn't manipulation, it's communication with intention. And once you get it, men will experience you differently. You'll go from feeling overlooked to unforgettable. So if you're ready to become the woman he can't stop thinking about, stay with me. Let's get into it. You might think men are listening to the exact words you're saying, but that's rarely what's actually happening. What men really hear when you speak isn't just your words, it's your tone, your energy, your timing, and your intention behind the message. Most women talk to men the way they talk to their girlfriends. Direct, emotional, often full of nuance and unspoken expectations. But here's the problem. Men are wired differently. Their emotional filters are not as intuitive, which means if your energy doesn't match your words, they tune out, shut down, or misinterpret everything. So when you say something like, "Do whatever you want," thinking you're expressing frustration, or hoping he'll read between the lines, he hears exactly that. Do whatever you want. He doesn't pick up on the emotional charge behind it. He hears it literally. Here's the deal. Men respond more strongly to emotional clarity than emotional complexity. That doesn't mean you should become robotic or hide how you feel. It means you need to learn to align your message with emotional precision. When your tone says, "I'm confident and calm," but your words say, "I don't trust you," he feels internal conflict, confusion, disconnection. And here's where it gets deeper. A man will subconsciously associate the feeling he gets around you with who you are. If every conversation feels heavy, unpredictable, or full of emotional landmines, he won't want to be around you. Not because you're difficult, but because the emotional experience you create isn't safe. But when you speak with softness, certainty, and grace, even when setting boundaries, he hears confidence. He hears peace. He hears, "This woman is in her power, and I want more of that." Remember, men don't just hear words. They feel your presence. Speak from grounded energy, and your message will land in his heart, not just his ears. That's when everything shifts. If you want to make a man crave you on a deep emotional level, not just desire you physically, then the secret isn't in how you look. It's in the words you use and how you use them. Men may not say it out loud, but they crave emotional experiences just as much as women do. They just access it differently. Most men are starved for emotional connection, not because they can't feel, but because the world doesn't give them permission to feel deeply. So when you come into their life and speak in a way that awakens that part of them, it's magnetic, it's rare, and they'll start craving more of it, more of you. So what kind of words create emotional craving? First, use language that reflects how he makes you feel. Men respond powerfully to emotional feedback. Instead of saying, "Thanks for taking me out," say, "You have no idea how safe and seen I feel when I'm with you." That sentence hits differently. It tells him, "What you're doing matters to me." That creates an emotional imprint. Second, use future-focused language that invites him into your world. Phrases like, "I love when we," "I can totally see us doing this again," "You make me excited to see where this could go." These subtle cues make a man invest mentally in the connection. Now he's not just thinking about this moment, he's picturing more moments with you, which naturally builds desire. Another powerful shift. Speak to his essence, not his performance. Instead of complimenting what he does, highlight who he is. Try things like, "You're the kind of man who makes people feel calm just by being in the room. You have this grounded presence, like nothing rattles you." These kinds of affirmations don't just boost his ego. They make him feel seen in a way most women overlook. And when a man feels seen by you, he begins to emotionally attach to you. Also, let your voice carry emotional depth. Slow down when you say something intimate. Add pauses. Lower your tone slightly when you're complimenting or expressing appreciation. Your voice is a tool, not just to communicate, but to evoke. Remember, craving isn't created through chasing, proving, or over-explaining. It's created through emotional tension, softness, confidence, and most importantly, letting him feel something when he's around you. The woman who can spark an emotion he doesn't feel anywhere else is the woman he can't get out of his head. One of the biggest fears women have is this: if I let my guard down, if I soften, I'll lose control, or worse, I'll get hurt. So instead, we put up walls. We lead with independence. We over-explain, over-perform, or try to prove that we're strong, unbothered, untouchable. But here's the truth: softness is not weakness. Softness is your power, when you own it, not when you give it away. You don't have to choose between being powerful and being feminine. You can hold both. In fact, the most magnetic women, the ones men respect and feel emotionally drawn to, are the ones who can be open, gentle, and warm, while still having unshakable standards. Being soft doesn't mean letting someone walk all over you. It means that even when you're setting a boundary, you do it with grace, not aggression. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. You don't need to defend yourself to be respected. You don't need to control someone to feel secure. When you're truly in your power, softness becomes a choice, not a reaction. You're not being soft to win him over. You're being soft because you trust yourself. And that's the difference. So what does this actually look like? Instead of saying, I don't need you, say, I'm good on my own, but I love sharing my space with someone who adds value. Instead of saying, you better not mess this up, say, I value honesty and emotional safety. That's what keeps me close. Do you feel the shift? One is defensive. The other is soft, but strong. The woman who can express her needs without begging, show her heart without collapsing, and walk away without losing her peace. That's power, and men feel it. When a man sees that your softness comes from choice, not from desperation, it earns his respect. It also makes him lean in, because softness creates emotional intimacy. It makes him feel safe to drop his guard, open up, and connect more deeply. You don't have to be cold to be taken seriously. You don't have to be loud to be heard. You don't have to dominate to be powerful. Your softness, when anchored in self-worth, becomes a quiet force that shifts the energy in every room you walk into. And when a man experiences that, he won't forget you, because most people are armored up. But you've mastered something rare. There are some things you should never say to a man, not because you're walking on eggshells or trying to protect his ego, but because certain words shut down emotional connection in ways that are almost impossible to reverse. Let's be clear, you should always speak your truth. But how you speak it, and what words you choose, can either open his heart or make him emotionally retreat. The first thing to avoid, anything that sounds like a comparison. Phrases like, why can't you be more like, my ex used to do this for me, other guys don't act like that. To you it might be casual or even meant as motivation, but to a man, this is emotional castration. It hits his pride. It tells him, you're not enough, and that breaks trust. He stops listening, he stops showing up, and now he's not trying to impress you, he's trying to protect himself from you. The next, passive-aggressive guilt language. Phrases like, fine, I guess I'll just do everything myself. If you cared, you'd know what's wrong. These statements may come from frustration, but they don't invite change. They invite distance. Men don't respond well to emotional guessing games. If something bothers you, say it clearly, not sarcastically. Another one that kills attraction, belittling his efforts. Even if what he did didn't meet your expectations, avoid saying things like, that's it? That's not how you do it. I would have just done it myself. When a man puts in effort, even if it's imperfect, and gets criticized instead of appreciated, he pulls back. Not because he's weak, but because his masculine core thrives on feeling useful and valued. If you constantly make him feel like he can't win with you, eventually, he'll stop playing the game altogether. Also, never say, you always or you never. These absolute statements aren't just untrue, they make him feel boxed in, like no matter what he does, it's never enough. And when a man feels chronically misunderstood, he emotionally disconnects. Now, here's the twist. It's not just about avoiding certain phrases, it's about replacing them with better ones. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I really value being heard. It helps me feel close to you." See the difference? One triggers defense. One triggers defense. The other invites connection. Men aren't fragile, but they are human. And just like you, they want to feel appreciated, respected, and emotionally safe. When you become intentional with your words, even in conflict, you don't lose power, you gain influence. Speak to him like a man you value, and watch how he rises into that role. Let's talk about strategic compliments. Not just random praise, but intentional words that tap into a man's deepest emotional drivers. Compliments that don't just make him smile, they make him stand taller. They make him want to show up for you, protect you, impress you, and never stop earning your respect. Here's what most people get wrong. They compliment men the same way they compliment women, focusing on surface level things like appearance. "You look hot. I like your shirt. You're so cute." Sure, that feels good, but it doesn't touch his masculine core. If you want to make a man feel like a king, you need to speak to who he is, not just how he looks. The most powerful compliments are the ones that reflect who he believes himself to be at his best, or who he wants to become. When your words affirm that version of him, he feels seen, and he starts associating that powerful feeling with you. Try compliments like, "You have such a grounded energy. I always feel calm around you. I love how you handled that. You're so composed under pressure." When you speak, people listen. You have a presence that commands respect. "I feel so safe when I'm with you. Like nothing could go wrong." You're not just praising him, you're mirroring back his value in a way that makes him feel trusted, respected, and masculine. And here's the secret. The more a man feels admired by you, the more he wants to live up to that version of himself. Not out of ego, but out of pride. Men thrive on purpose. When they feel like they're winning with you emotionally, they'll invest, commit, and show up in powerful ways. Now, strategic compliments also create emotional exclusivity, meaning he starts to feel like only you see this side of him, that you get him in a way others don't. That's what builds emotional loyalty. And loyalty is more powerful than lust. Another key, your delivery. Don't compliment like you're checking a box. Say it when you mean it. Say it slowly. Make eye contact. Touch his arm. Let your tone soften. When your compliment is delivered with intention, it lands 10x deeper. You don't need to stroke his ego 24/7. You just need to notice him in the right moments and say the thing most people never do. Because when a man feels like a king next to you, he'll treat you like a queen without being asked. Raising your standards doesn't mean demanding more. It means communicating differently. It's not about being difficult, cold, or overly independent. It's about having a clear sense of what you accept, what you desire, and what you don't entertain, and expressing all of that in a way that's confident, soft, and unforgettable. High-value women don't just hope for better treatment. They speak in ways that set the tone from the very beginning. And the language you use either elevates you or quietly lowers your value without you even realizing it. Let's talk about the kind of phrases that raise your standards. The ones that shift your dynamic from impressing him to inviting him to earn his place in your world. Instead of saying, "I'm just looking for someone who won't waste my time," say, "I move with intention. I don't rush, but I don't settle either." Instead of, "I've been hurt before, so I have trust issues." Try, "Emotional safety is everything to me. When I feel that, I open up fully." These aren't just prettier sentences. They reflect emotional maturity, clarity, and self-respect, without sounding bitter, guarded, or aggressive. Want to go even deeper? Try, "I don't need perfection. I value consistency and emotional honesty. Peace is my priority. If something disrupts that, I walk away quietly. I don't chase, I align. And if something feels right, I match energy. The way someone treats me tells me everything I need to know." Each of these phrases is an energetic filter. They naturally attract emotionally mature men who are looking for depth, and they gently repel men who are only interested in short-term validation or low-effort behavior. That's the power of your words. You don't have to argue for your worth. You show it by how you communicate, calmly, clearly, and with certainty. And here's the best part. When you speak like a high-value woman, you remind yourself of who you are. Your language reinforces your standards not just to others but to you. It becomes your identity. High-value phrases don't scare good men away. They inspire the right men to step up. The ones who are ready will lean in. The ones who aren't will fall off. And that's a gift. So speak in a way that honors your heart, your peace, and your worth. Not because you're trying to prove anything, but because you know exactly what you bring to the table. And that kind of energy, it doesn't beg, it chooses. You might think intimacy is all about what you say. But truthfully, how you say it can be even more important. Your tone of voice carries layers of meaning beyond the words themselves. It's the secret language that men instinctively respond to on a deep emotional level. When you speak with intention, softness, and warmth, your tone creates a sense of safety, a feeling that he can relax, open up, and be himself around you. That's intimacy. And intimacy is the foundation of true connection. Think about the difference between a sharp, rushed tone and a calm, slow, soothing one. The first triggers alertness and sometimes defensiveness. The second invites trust and vulnerability. Men aren't always tuned into the content of what you say, but they feel your tone in their bones. One powerful way to create intimacy is by lowering your voice slightly when you want to express something important or tender. This subtle drop signals confidence and calm, which makes your words land with more weight and sincerity. Pausing before key phrases also works wonders. When you take a breath and slow down, it shows you're present and intentional, not just rushing through the conversation. That pause gives him space to absorb what you're saying, and it makes him lean in to hear more. Using soft, gentle inflections instead of flat or monotone delivery also creates warmth. When your voice carries emotional texture, rising and falling naturally, it feels alive, engaging, and comforting. This emotional rhythm is what draws people closer. Another tip, match your tone to the moment. If you're sharing something vulnerable, let your voice reflect that softness. If you're playful or teasing, let your tone be light and flirty. If you're setting boundaries, stay calm but firm. Your tone is your emotional boundary. The most magnetic women understand that tone is a powerful tool, almost like a secret weapon, for creating connection without needing to say a lot. It's not about sounding perfect, it's about sounding real and emotionally aligned with what you want to communicate. The way you say things can disarm a man's defenses and invite him into your world. It can make him feel like he's the only person in the room, like you're speaking directly to his heart. Remember, words are just the surface. Your tone is the emotional current beneath them. Master your tone, and you master emotional intimacy. Alright, now that you've learned how to speak in a way that makes a man crazy for you, it's time for some final game-changing tips to seal the deal and keep that fire burning. First, remember this. Attraction isn't about changing who you are. It's about amplifying your unique energy and communicating it with confidence and clarity. The most magnetic women don't try to fit into a mold. They own their individuality and speak from that place of authenticity. Tip 1. Be present. Men crave presence. When you're truly in the moment with him, listening, responding, and showing genuine interest, it creates an emotional connection that no rehearsed line or clever trick can replace. Put your phone away, make eye contact, and feel the conversation. Presence is magnetic. Tip 2. Balance your energy. You want to mix softness with strength, mystery with openness. Don't reveal everything all at once. Keep a little intrigue alive, a sense that there's more to discover about you. That's what makes a man want to keep coming back, eager to learn more. Tip 3. Use your body language. Your tone and words matter, but your physical presence speaks volumes. A warm smile, a subtle touch on his arm, relaxed posture. These small signals communicate attraction and comfort. They make your words even more powerful. Tip 4. Be clear about your boundaries. High-value women don't apologize for their standards. When you express what you need or won't tolerate, with kindness but firmness, you show him that you respect yourself, and respect is the foundation of attraction. Tip 5. Celebrate his efforts. Men want to feel appreciated. When he shows up or makes an effort, acknowledge it sincerely. A well-timed compliment or a simple thank you can motivate him to invest even more emotionally. Tip 6. Keep your sense of humor. Don't take everything so seriously. Playfulness and laughter create positive emotional experiences, making time spent together feel joyful and effortless. This lightness draws him in and builds intimacy. And finally, tip 7. Trust the process. Don't rush or force things. Attraction grows naturally when you're aligned with your true self and communicate that honestly. Patience and consistency build deeper connections than any fast fix. So, what's the big takeaway? Speak your truth with confidence, softness, and intention. Use your tone and words as tools to build emotional intimacy and make him feel truly seen and valued. And remember, the most powerful connection comes when you're fully you, unapologetically. When you master this balance, you don't just attract a man, you make him crazy about you.